A 3-foot steel fence almost cost me the home I'd poured my life into building. The HOA president, a woman with a vendetta, planted that metal monstrosity right across my front gate because I dared to say no to her demands. She bombarded me with threatening letters, installed cameras to watch my every move, and even cut off my water to break me. I lost sleep, teetered on the edge of surrender, and nearly sold my dream home to escape her relentless harassment. But then I uncovered her secreta hidden truth about my land that flipped the script. What I found wasn't just a loophole. It was a weapon, and I wielded it in a way that left the neighborhood reeling. This wasn't just about a fence. It was about grief, power, and a fight that exposed raw, ugly truths. It started at 7 a.m., coffee mug in hand, staring at the most brazen act of neighborhood tyranny I'd ever seen. A gleaming steel fence, 3 feet high and painted a cold industrial gray, had sprouted overnight, blocking my front gate. A laminated sign, zip-tied to the mesh, read, "No entry. HOA violation in progress." It didn't just seal my gate. It stretched across the public walkway I'd used for years, the same path my late wife, Emily, and I walked every evening during her cancer treatments, when the breeze was one of the few things that eased her pain. Now, it was gone, replaced by a monument to petty control. The fence was no amateur job, concrete footings, tension wire, the works. Someone had spent serious money to make my life hell, and I knew exactly who. 3 weeks earlier, Margaret Hensley, the newly elected HOA president, had shown up at my door like a storm cloud in designer heels. Clipboard in hand, her smile as fake as her charm, she listed violations so petty they'd make a saint snap. Grass a 1/4 inch too long, a mailbox needing paint, a light fixture non-conforming to the neighborhood's aesthetic. Then came the real demand. She wanted my gate key. "Standard procedure," she said, her voice dripping with condescension. "The HOA needs access for safety inspections." I stared, dumbfounded. Keys to my gate? To the yard where Emily's roses still bloomed? No way. This house was my last tether to her paintings on the walls, her coffee mug in the cupboard. I wasn't handing that over to some power-tripping bureaucrat. "No," I said, flat and final. Her smile flickered, and her eyes darted to my back gate, the one opening to the old walkway. For a split second, her composure cracked, her hands trembled, and she muttered, "Not again." It was odd, but I brushed it off. "You have 72 hours to reconsider, Mr. Carter," she warned, her voice icy. "Non-compliance has consequences." Now, staring at her fence, I saw how far she'd go. As a civil engineer, I knew something was off. That walkway predated our subdivision, a public right-of-way since the 1920s. No HOA could legally block it. I snapped photos, my mind racing. My neighbor, Tom Bradley, ambled over with his old lab, shaking his head. "Came up at midnight," he said, voice low. "Margaret was here, supervising. Permits and all." His eyes darted nervously. "Haven't seen her this wound up since, well, never mind." I pressed, but he clammed up, leaving me with a sinking feeling this was bigger than a key dispute. The harassment escalated fast. Monday brought a legal letter from a fancy law firm, demanding property access. Tuesday, another. By Wednesday, 3 arrived, each more menacing. Then came the cameras, first one on a pole across from my door, then 3 more, watching my gate, mailbox, even my living room window. The city called them legal, filed by a concerned citizen, Margaret. Next, my trash service was cut off for aesthetic disruption. My neighbors, once friendly, started avoiding me. Mrs. Larson, who used to chat about her peonies, now scurried inside when I passed. The Wilsons kept their kids indoors. Margaret was isolating me, turning me into a pariah. But Tom wasn't avoiding me. Saturday morning, as I photographed another camera, he sidled up, coffee in hand. "This reminds me of something from 2 years back," he said, voice low. "Margaret tried to buy your house when Emily was in the hospital. Lowball offer, cash deal, right when you were drowning in medical bills." My fists clenched. Emily had never told me, shielding me from the vultures circling our grief. "It's not about compliance," Tom said. "Your land includes that walkway. It's the key to a commercial development she's planning. Without your property, her project's dead." That night, I couldn't sleep, Emily's memory burning in my chest. Margaret wasn't just after control, she wanted my land. and she'd exploit any weakness to get it. But Tom's hint about her avoiding the back path nagged at me. She'd detour blocks to skip that 30-foot stretch, her eyes haunted whenever she glanced at it. There was something deeper driving her, something personal. 3 days at the county courthouse, digging through dusty records, gave me a headache and a bombshell. A 1923 surveyor's map showed the walkway was a protected public right-of-way, untouchable by the HOA. Margaret's fence was illegal, sitting on city land. Her entire development hinged on controlling that path for access. Without it, her project was landlocked, worthless. I laughed like a madman in the courthouse basement. Armed with this, I hired Lisa Thompson, a property law attorney, and filed a complaint with the city. We sent Margaret a cease and desist, demanding she remove the fence and cameras. I felt like I'd finally drawn blood. Then, silence. For 3 days, Margaret vanished, no calls, no letters, her house dark. It was eerie, like a predator circling before a strike. I contacted Sarah Kim, a blogger exposing HOA abuses. She dove into my case, uncovering Margaret's pattern. 3 other families harassed over properties with valuable access points. 2 sold to her shell companies. 1 fought and won, but not before enduring months of torment. Sarah's next call was urgent. "There's more to Margaret than greed," she said. 10 years ago, she was big on child safety, then dropped off the map. Something's off. Friday morning, I woke to no water, not a drip. The shower was dry, the toilet tank empty. A notice on my door cited safety violations. Worse, my backyard was a war zone, gouged earth, shattered concrete around my foundation. It wasn't vandalism, it was sabotage, designed to fake a crisis. The police said Margaret had reported a water main break, threatening my house. Her signature on the work order as emergency safety coordinator. It was a lie so bold it was almost genius. I was shaking, ready to call a realtor and flee. Then Sarah called. "I found it," she said, voice heavy. 10 years ago, a child died on that walkway. Michael Hensley, Margaret's son, hit by a delivery truck. She's not after your land for money. She wants that path closed forever. The pieces snapped together, her trembling hands, her terror of the path. She blamed it for her son's death, and every child who walked it was a ghost of Michael. That night, in my silent, waterless house, I made a choice. I wasn't running. As an engineer, I saw obstacles as puzzles. Margaret wanted to trap me. I'd go over her. Literally. I sketched a pedestrian bridge 30 feet of steel from my second-floor window, over her fence, to the public walkway. It would be on my land until it hit the right-of-way, untouchable by the HOA. The city clerk, amused, approved the permit. Tom, a retired surveyor, mapped my property lines with precision. Sarah's viral blog post rallied support, crowdfunding the bridge's cost. By Friday, my crew was ready. We'd build Sunday, when Margaret left for her weekly appointment. At 6 a.m. Sunday, my team unloaded steel beams. By 10, the bridge stood aluminum, with railings and LED lights, a middle finger to Margaret's fence. Neighbors gathered, Mrs. Larson live streaming, the Wilson kids selling lemonade. Margaret returned, disheveled, and froze, staring at the bridge like it was a nightmare. Then she screamed, "Draw!" Unhinged fury. "This is illegal." Insane. The police and a city inspector arrived. The inspector, clipboard in hand, dropped the hammer. "The bridge is legal. Your fence isn't. Remove it in 72 hours, or the city will." The crowd cheered, someone yelling, "Bridge era, baby." But Margaret's rage dissolved into something else. Terror. She stared at the walkway, whispering, "It's not safe." "Children." Her hands shook violently. Tom nodded at me, confirming what I suspected. This wasn't about power. It was about Michael. Sarah's call that evening confirmed it. Michael, 8, died riding his blue bike when a truck took the corner too fast. Margaret's lawsuits against the city failed, leaving her obsessed with closing the path. The next morning, I found Margaret on a bench by the walkway, staring at the spot where Michael died. She looked broken. "His bike was blue," she said, voice hollow. "He saved for months." I sat beside her. Sarah told me. "I'm sorry." I shared how Emily found peace on that path, how it held her last joys. Margaret blinked, surprised. "I've been fighting ghosts," she admitted. We talked for an hour, forging a plan. The bridge would stay, ensuring access. We'd improve the walkway lights, signage, a memorial garden for Michael. The HOA would protect the right-of-way, and we'd fund a Michael Hensley safety fund with Margaret's development money. She resigned as president, started therapy. The neighborhood learned her story, and anger turned to empathy. 6 months later, kids played in Michael's garden, their laughter a bomb. Margaret watched, smiling for the first time. Standing on my bridge, I whispered to Emily, "I built this so no one walks alone." It wasn't just steel, it was a testament to empathy over anger, a reminder that behind every fight lies a story of pain. What's yours? Share below. Your story might build a bridge for someone else.